Hey parents, Mr. Jim here to tell you why kids love learning with Osmo's Genius Starter Kit. Osmo uses real tangible pieces that look and feel just like toys, combining them with immersive digital experiences to create fun, whole child learning adventures. They'll have a blast with the Genius Starter Kit, playing games that explore math, reading, and more. Just in time for the holidays, get up to 40% off select kits and games. Order today at playosmo.com. That's playosmo.com. Osmo, learning well played.
Hello, critter protectors. Mr. Jim here, and welcome to Kids Animal Stories, a place where there's always a mystery and adventure around every single corner. If you love critters of all shapes and sizes, I need you on our Critter Protector team. Join our adventure as we learn about critters from around the world and in our backyards. Well, my friends, are you ready for today's adventure? Me too! Let's go!
Today's story is another one of our mystery adventures, which means you are going to have to pay extra close attention to the clues that are going to be throughout the story. And together, we will solve Who is George? George was the slowest creature in all of South America. Everyone knew that George was very slow, so it made it hard to play with him a little bit. Living in the rainforests of South America meant that there were a lot of fun playmates everywhere, but for George, he spent most of his days up in his favorite tree. The trees that George really liked were the myrtle trees. His species would spend most of their lives in myrtle trees because they were arboreal critters. When George was born, he was born with his mother hanging upside down from their myrtle tree. George's mother taught him everything he needed to know about living in a myrtle tree, even the kinds of things that were safe to eat. George learned what he could eat by licking his mother's lips when he was young. He would be able to taste the things she had eaten and know that, that is a safe food. George and his family were omnivores, so they not only ate plants, but also small animals too. But his favorite foods were buds, leaves, and tender shoots. For the majority of the day, George stayed right in his myrtle tree, where he ate the leaves happily. Since he was such a slow-moving critter, he also ate very slowly. Oh, and it digested a long time. Looks like it takes him 30 days to digest one leaf. Wow. Do you have any idea what kind of critter he is? I'm not sure yet. Seems like he's pretty slow. But George was very happy living in his myrtle tree now that he was a little bit older. His mother had weaned him, and now he was 4 years old and he could live by himself. Whoa! Living alone at only 4 years old? Wow, I don't think I could have done that. His favorite part of the day was when he could just hang upside down. He loved to see the world from a new angle. Hanging upside down was very easy for George because he had these 3 enormous claws on each of his front paws. Do you like to hang upside down? I wonder if you're the same kind of critter as George. Those claws were perfect for George in gripping onto trees and branches. George never left his myrtle tree. From sunup to sundown, he would stay in his tree. Once a week, he would leave for a few minutes, but he would come right back because it was very dangerous for him to leave his tree. His body did not have very much muscle, and so he almost didn't even have the strength to walk on the ground. When he had to leave his tree, he would have to drag himself across the ground with his giant claws, and it was even slower than how he moved in the trees. On the ground, he could only crawl 1 foot per minute. What? How's that even possible? That is very slow. I'm pretty sure that even our slowest crawling is still faster than George. Well, one day, George was enjoying his time in his tree. He had just a lovely lunch of leaves and was relaxing when a monkey swung into his tree.
"Hi there,"
said the monkey.
"My name is Teddy. What's your name?"
George turned his head slowly towards the monkey. He had never seen a monkey so close up before.
My name is George.
"Ha! Wow, it's nice to meet you, George. Would you like to come play with me?"
George wasn't sure what kind of game they could play, because that monkey, Teddy, was a lot faster than him. And George never really left his tree. He was too slow moving on the ground, and it was dangerous, and
I'm not sure how we could play. You see, I never leave my tree.
"You never leave your tree?"
George shook his head.
Only once a week, for a minute or two, and then I come right back.
"But how do you eat?"
I eat the leaves in the tree right here.
"Well, what about sleeping?"
I sleep right here. I love to hang upside down.
Wow, I could never just hang upside down for that long. I don't think I'd be able to breathe after a while,"
shouted Teddy.
Hanging upside down is one of my favorite things to do. It's so fun to see the world from a different angle.
Teddy the monkey stopped to think about it for a minute. He had never tried to see the world from a new angle before, and now he was feeling a little bit curious.
"Will you teach me how to hang upside down like you?"
asked Teddy. This got George excited. He'd never taught anyone anything before, and he'd never had a friend like Teddy drop by before. Maybe if he taught Teddy some fun things like hanging upside down, Teddy would come visit him more often.
Sure, Teddy, I'll show you how.
Wow, that's a pretty good feeling. Have you ever been able to teach somebody something? Yeah, it feels pretty good when you know something and you're able to share that knowledge with somebody else. Well, as George started to slowly turn around on his tree and lift his legs onto the branch above him, as his claws caught the tree bark, he let go with his front claws and started to dangle in the air upside down.
"Whoa!"
said Teddy.
"Let me try."
Teddy climbed up onto the branch that George was hanging on to and turned around. He tried to grab the branch with his feet too, but he didn't have giant claws like George did. His feet looked more like hands. He gripped the branch as hard as he could and then started to let go with his front paws. But suddenly, he lost his balance. His feet weren't strong enough to grip the branch.
Look out, Teddy!
said George as Teddy started to fall off the branch. George reached out to grab him, but as he did, Teddy gripped onto the branch with his own tail. But before he could tell George he was okay, oh no! George lost his own balance and started to fall from this tree. Oh! Will George be okay? I'm not sure, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens on the next episode of Kids Animal Stories. We'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Great job, you listened all the way to the end. All right, we need to figure out what clues did we uncover during today's story about George? George lives in trees. He's pretty slow. And remember what kind of food he eats? Oh yes, he's an omnivore, which means he eats plants and small animals. But he stays up in the trees and doesn't really come down to the ground very often. Have you figured out what kind of critter he is? I'm gonna have to keep thinking about it. Well, my critter protectors, I hope you have a super duper day, and I'll see you on our next adventure. Bye!